going.
Nico, Andy was just talking about how competitive you are. Describe just that competitive nature, especially knowing now you're trying to battle against Sonic Team.
Yeah, I mean, that's just who I am. Kind of just my makeup, how I've been developed, how I've been raised. It has always revolved around competition, and the only way to get to this point is to be a competitive guy and to know how to compete and how to bounce back, and yeah, I mean, that's just who I am.
They told us kind of that you're still the best returner that they have in that time. I guess when you hear something like that, how does it make you feel?
This is my first time hearing that, so I take it with a grain of salt. I think the thing that I've learned with this business is that if you get too comfortable, you're going to get got. And I worked too damn hard to get to this point in my career, to get to year 3, to let it slip through my fingers. So, really I approach every day like I'm an undrafted rookie that barely got a shot to make it to the NFL, and I'm scratching and clawing to just get an opportunity.
Is that what's going through your mind, Nico, on a day like, if I could, Tuesday, where Hollywood has an injury, Xavier has an injury for a little bit, you get thrown in with more reps, it's obviously 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Is that what you have to reserve to dig deep in the
Definitely. I think, Coach Reed talks a lot about during training camp, you're going to have to get to a dark place. And that dark place resembles the space in your head that you're going to have to get to in the AFC Championship, in the playoffs, when you're down in the Super Bowl. And, there's a lot that goes into that. And like you said, knowing my story, the journey that it took for me to get here, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And it's always going to be a driver and a motivator for me.
Nico, that day it looked like several times you were coming off the field really struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Is that sort of what's pushing through in the back of your mind, like, I got to keep going, even if I don't know if you're cramping or what? But.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, there's not a lot going on in my head at that at that point in time. I'm just, you're kind of just flailing around all over the place. You're drenched in sweat. It's hot. Your skin is stinging because it's hot. And, I think those days, Coach Reed is intentionally trying to see and evaluate if you can still do your job in the most chaotic, frantic of times with the most extreme circumstances. And so that's what I know that's going on in the back of my mind is, can I still score a touchdown? Can I still catch the ball? Can I still square up a punt in the most extreme conditions? Because when we get to the playoffs, when we get to the championship, that pressure is a whole nother level.
How hard was it to keep going a couple of those times when you were just barely getting off the field?
I talked to my family about it and my wife about it, but I feel like my threshold for stress and like extreme circumstances has been pushed so much further. And, I kind of compare it to last year where training camp was the epitome of that for me. That was the furthest I had gone up until this point in my career. And, obviously got cut, put on practice squad. And after that point, I played in the playoffs, I played in the championship, I played in the Super Bowl. So just your ability to tolerate stress, and I think it kind of just, highlights just growth and maturity for myself, not only as a player, but just as a man, like my ability to just push through hard things.
Have you approached this offseason and this camp different after having that experience last year of actually getting on the field with the team in NFL games?
I wouldn't say I approach camp any differently. I'd say that there's a little bit more comfortability, just having more familiarity with the offense. I think the last time I spoke to you guys, it was figuring out what Pat wants and how the difference that is from how they install the offense. And now I feel like I'm kind of at the point where, okay, what are my strengths in this offense? How can I find space? How can I manipulate the defense? How can I manipulate the defender within the scheme of the offense and stay on Pat's timing? And I'd say that would be the biggest difference for me in this camp.
Were you able to pinpoint all that when you were down in Dallas working out with Pat?
Routes on air is a different feeling. It's really hard to emulate that, and the only way to really get that feel is is to be in a competitive, live situation where, you know, you've got everybody out there on the field. You've got the defense moving around, the safeties flowing in the back, you know, all the movement. You need that movement to be able to feel it.
Like you said, you're in year 3. It's a very young receiver. And then you got guys like Mac. That I know you were at Fresno State for a year. What's it like, you know, having Mac there and working with the young guys?
Man, it's so awesome. So Mac, actually, when I was at Cal, I think I was like my sophomore, junior year, Mac had attended a kids camp. And I was coaching Mac as like one of the college receivers helping out at the kids camp. And then I ended up transferring to Fresno State and was playing with him over there at Fresno State. And when I saw that he got signed here, man, it was like just such a cool full circle moment. And man, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. And I'm just so happy to see him making plays at this level. And, you know, it's not too big of a moment for him. And as somebody who's kind of watched his growth and, you know, from when he was a kid to playing with him as a teammate and now up here in the NFL, it's really such a cool opportunity.
Does it make you feel like a good teacher or just old?
I'm not old, man. I'm not old. Good? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.